How we doing, people? Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are listening around the world. 12th man is back. I'm on here with another Arsenal show with none other than the legend Chris Hudson. Chris, it's been too long, mate. How are you enjoying the summer?
I'm enjoying it, Dan. You know why? Because I've switched off, or 75% switched off from Arsenal. I think we all need to do it. And the nauseating Sesko Gyokeres updates. I just can't stand it. It's doing me head in, Dan. Really, really is, mate.
Yeah, it's doing my head in, mate. And look, we're going to get into it. Before we do that, do me a favour, people. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you scan the QR code in the top right for Club World Cup Match Bingo. I know a lot of you have messaged me to say that you're doing well on Match Bingo. Big up to you all. Good luck to all of you. I hope that you can win some money in the summer. A lot of people have been successful on that. All you've got to do is click on the link in the description or, of course, scan the QR code. Make sure you download the app. And then if you credit £5, you can play. It will give you a bingo card. It will automatically tick it off. So make sure you enjoy it. And good luck. We've had a Gooner win now as well. I've had someone reach out to me. So there we go. Big up to all of you that have won. Chris, let's chat. There's three types of Arsenal fans at the moment, bruv. The first type is sitting on the beach, not caring, don't care. Talk to me on the 1st of September. You got those that are actually a little bit more involved and concerned, slightly worried, PTSD of January and the previous summer. And you've got the third Arsenal fans that are absolute head loss, had enough of the club and think we're a disgrace that we haven't done anything. Whereabouts are you on that kind of scale, bruv?
I'm in between 3 and 2. I'm not at 1. But the thing is, if you look at it, if you look at Arsenal's history, they very rarely buy a player in June. I can only think of 1998 when Wenger bought 5 players in one day. Seriously, and up till so, I'm sort of thinking, I'm assuming they know what they're doing, which is dangerous. We got Zuma, Mendy, and the backup keeper, I assume, over the line. So that leaves us with the 2 strikers, the wide player. So now with the 2 strikers, I have no idea what's going on. I have to be totally honest because I have no idea what's going on because every day it changes. It's every day, but I suppose where we are, you could say Sesko's agent seems to be putting up barriers, wants a buyout clause, and apparently his wages Arsenal not too happy about. The other geezer is desperate to come and join us. I know you love him. He spoke to the sporting president saying he'll never forgive him and price him out for his move to Arsenal. So really, if I'm a Sesko man, if Gyokeres is that desperate to join, get him here. I'll tell you when I'm going to panic is round about July the 14th. Because by then he wants to take a section of the players to Marbella for a bit of training before they go on tour. So between now and July the 14th, I will want to see some action, Dan. That's where I am at the moment. So I'm not at 1. I'm sort of between 3. I'm a 2.53 at the moment.
I hear it, and I know why. Look, you and I are very similar on how we see football, and I think you're very similar to me with what's happened with Arsenal in the last decade or so, right? And under the Cronkies, we have always been left short. Now, you could go further back to say it was happening before the Cronkies, but we don't want to get too historic, right? We want to talk about this regime and what we've seen in this regime because the Wenger days are done. The David Dean days are done. Unfortunately, I'd love David Dean still to be here, but we are in a position now where you've got quite a lot of people talking about what this window is going to be like. It's got to be a special one. It's got to be perfection, rah, rah, rah. Now, I have zero faith that Arsenal's window will be perfection, Chris, right? I might have some faith that it might be half decent, but I'm not going to say that it's going to be perfection because perfection means we're going to bring about 8 players in, right? And that ain't going to happen, yeah? So if we're realistic about it, let's just go through the positions. Let's start with the elephant in the room. I am with you. I have absolutely no idea what is going on with this striker position. Sesko is the guy that we've apparently wanted for a long time. The only times we've been linked with Gyokeres has been since Andrea Berta has come in. What scenario sounds likeliest to you? Do you think it's a scenario that Arteta wants Sesko, Berta wants Gyokeres, and they're looking at which one they can do? Or is it a scenario that maybe not many people have spoken about, that come the 1st of July, when the PSR allows us to spend what we want, we'll go for both? Do you think
No,
there's a for that?
we want to buy both, Dan. I think in the end, I think Gyokeres will win. I think Bert will have his way, and it'll be up to Arteta to get the best out of him. But going back to what you said about Arsenal, PC, well, where I am with I'll never ever forgive them for what happened in this January. I know we're not talking about that, but I want that. I'll never forgive them for that, because it cost. I'll tell you where it cost us. Not so much the Premier League, but when I look back upon that, that PSG game. I mean, I know their goalkeeper pulled off some amazing saves, but I'm convinced that we had a really good striker in that semi-final against PSG, we would have won.
I agree.
And we would have beaten Inter Milan in the final. But it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. But Arsenal, they played God in January, decided not to do anything, and it cost us. So I understand Arsenal fans being nervous when it comes to the transfer market. Don't worry about that.
I think people have got a right to feel a bit nervous. This is why I don't get people telling us to calm down. These were the same people telling me and judges and you and Troops and Turkish and Curtis all to calm down in January. They'll get a striker. They'll get a striker. Look at it. We're struggling. We ain't got anyone. Well, hang on a minute. I don't know how anyone can forgive Arsenal for what they did in January. I thought it was a damn right disgrace. I'm talking about everyone, by the way, not just Arteta. I'm talking about anyone involved with any business that happens in that transfer market. That is a criminal offence, what they did. Leaving it, like you say, to God to just get us through. I'm in a position where they have to now make it up for us. They have to now make it up to the fans and the players. The players like Saliba and Saka don't deserve to be looking at Mourinho up front, bruv.
I'll tell you, did you see that interview with Timber about how much pain he had to put?
Wow.
That I thought that don't look good on Arsenal, and it don't look good on Arteta either. I thought that was a disgrace, actually.
Yeah, let's talk about that quick, because someone in the chat mentioned that. I didn't see it until late. Someone said, "Have you seen this Timber interview?" Or someone had tagged me on Twitter, I think, and I said no. Anyway, I looked at it on one of the streams one of the guys was doing. I can't remember if it was Lee or someone now. Wow. I was shocked, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't, because that's us all over. They've done that for the last 20. How many players have they overplayed in the last 10, 15 years? Not just Arteta, Wenger, Wiltshire, massive example. We've done that to lots of players, Dan, because our squad's never been adequate. So we're going over old ground here. But if you overplay players, in the end, they break down and get injured. It's not, ain't rocket science. But I thought that Timber one, I'll tell you what, that should set a few alarm bells ringing, that, mate.
Well, he basically revealed everything I already knew was true about the manager overplaying and flogging players. And there's no coincidence that 4 or 5 of our top players have all got hamstring injuries which have required surgery. Then you look at the scenario of Timber saying, "Don't think I should be playing here, boss." No, on you go. And we've seen Thomas Partey be pushed back onto the field by Arteta when he's broken down. We've seen Timber now being overplayed. Ben White was playing through an operation he needed. Odegaard clearly ain't fit. He's been playing all year. Saka, say no more. Havertz, Gabriel. How can all these players keep crocking down and needing hamstring injuries? And the next one, I hate to say it, the next one to go is Saliba, by the way, because we're doing nothing about giving him cover at all. Oh, Ben White and Timber can play there. Tommy Yasu.
They want Hetto, don't they, Dan? They want the geezer from Ajax, but he's looked good for I watched him for the Dutch under-21. He looks a quality player, but playing in the Premier League is a little bit different in an under-21 tournament. And he's not had a great season for Ajax, by the way. But if they want him,
he is a left-hand sided player, though. That's the problem. Yeah. He's another left-sided defender. We've got so many and had so many, but he ain't really done the same over on the right-hand side, has he? Because Tomiyasu is it's just pointless him being here. I mean, I made a joke on my show the other day where I finally found where he is. He's at a wedding the other day, so he has been spotted. But Timber and White, we know they're quality cover, but they're both right backs for me. I don't want them playing centre back as well. Like, I don't mind it for one game, but if you say Saliba gets, let's say Saliba gets crocked, and I'm touching wood that this don't happen, by the way, but hopefully we're lucky and it don't happen. Let's say he don't miss 6 months. Let's just say he misses 6 weeks. I don't have the confidence that we've got a right-sided defender that can come in, which is why I believe we've been linked with Gyokeres and Mosquera over at Valencia alongside Harto, because I think that with Harto, I think what they're looking at is Kivior potentially wanting first-team football. So if he left, because I quite like to keep him, but if he left, Harto would come in.
Well, I wouldn't be selling him, Dan. But the thing is, that takes us on to the next bit about players leaving, isn't it? And I suppose the party thing I find interesting, because if you remember, at the end of the season, they were asked, Arteta was very adamant that he wanted a keep party, big time. So now we're reading that the contract we've offered is not good enough, which I find a little bit worrying because, if he's one of Arteta's main men. But I think it was a party. How many? He's only played one full season, Dan, when he ain't been injured.
Yeah.
So,
how good was he? How was he? How good was he? For me, he was our best midfielder. I think it's criminal if we don't offer him a new deal. Because what you got to remember, Chris, right? Zubimendi coming in, people love, right? Fair play. I'm sure he's a good player. I don't know that he's better than Partey. If he's going as well, we're losing Partey and Jorginho, which people say, that's all right because they lost their legs. But they're a hell of a lot of experience coming out of that midfield in that position. You're replacing it with Zubimendi and another youngster. We've potentially downgraded on that position. I know Rice can play there, but Arteta don't want to play him there, mate. So, I don't know. I'm worried about this Partey bit.
But they're looking at some geezer at Seville, aren't they? But he's 23 and he's French, plays for Seville.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know how good he is. But I'll tell you who is a good player they're looking at. I know people go, is the Brentford geezer, Norgard.
Oh, Norgard, yeah.
Yeah, I like him, Dan. I think he's quite a good player. But he's not as good as Partey, but he's better than buying some experience.
Where I'm at, look, I know what you're saying. I get it, right? I'll tell you two things about why that worries me, Norgard, right? I'm not disrespecting anybody who plays for Brentford or any others because they've got some top players. I like Visser, I like Mbeumo, I like a lot of their players. I love Tony, right? When I'm told this is phase 5 or phase 6 or whatever the bollocks it's called, I don't really want to be buying Norgard, right? My sort of players coming in need to be ones that take us to the next level. And Norgard, to me, is a perfect Mikel Arteta signing because he's another one that can stand there in the box waiting for his bonds to get on it. And I don't need players like that anymore. I've got enough of them. I've got Marino, I've got Havertz, I've got Ben White, I've got Rice, I've got Gabriel, I've got Saliba. I don't want any more 6-foot giants. I want some technically gifted, attack-minded players. And I think that if you're going to bring in somebody like that, Lucien Igome, cool. Fine by me as a backup. But is that really strengthening us? Is Norgard really strengthening? On Partey, Jorginho to Norgard and Igome. That is not taking us to the next level. So I'm not saying that we should be keeping Partey and Jorginho both together, by the way, because Jorginho wanted to go and it's calm, right? But I think we need to be looking at that scenario. People talk about the striker, they're damn right, but the midfield ain't balanced enough yet. This midfield was a joke last season. Yeah. Declan Rice wasn't fit enough for the first 7 or 8 games. You could clearly see that. Right, he was playing him in a kind of attack-minded role, which I don't think is great until he goes. He needs to be more box-to-box as opposed to he is more Patrick Vieira than Frank Lampard to me, Declan Rice. Yeah, that's what I think he is. Obviously, you've got Ødegaard's issues, which caused a massive drama through the whole of that balance of that midfield because he was poor throughout most of the season because he weren't fit. And then you have Marino. Every time he played in midfield, I wanted him to put him back up front because he looked better up front. So I don't think we've had the balance right in our midfield. The best balance we had was Partey, Xhaka and Ødegaard. That was the best midfield trio we've had.
I wonder. I mean, it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. They're looking at Aston Villa, the midfield player there, but I can't see why would Villa sell him.
Everyone
does, but I mean to sell him. I mean, I think their fans have burned the ground down, wouldn't they? Because he is one of their best players.
Well, he is their best player, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But I think he would cost a lot of money, wouldn't he? He's going to have English tax. He'd be about 80 million, I reckon.
he's worth it, right? So
Yeah,
then,
well, I agree. I agree.
I suppose then I'm reading, oh, they won't do that because they want to spend a lot of money on Rodrigo. I mean, where are you with him, Dan? You think you can do it on a cold, wet night in Stoke?
I actually really like this player. I think he's quality, mate. Yeah, I think he's quality. I wouldn't say that we need to get rid of Martinelli. A lot of people say that we
No.
do. I want to keep Martinelli because no
Yeah.
point you want strength in depth here, you know. No point getting rid of one quality player for another quality player. You got to get them both in, right? So Rodrigo for me would be a phenomenal signing because he's a marquee signing. It's Real Madrid's one. They all love him at Real Madrid. They actually think he's had a better season than Vinny Jr. from the Real Madrid fans I've spoken to. He wants to play on the left-hand side, which we can offer him. They don't want unbelievable money for him. I think they're asking for about 75, 80 million. So for me, I think it'd be phenomenal. Like that's all. Just to correct Jim in the chat, just quickly. Sorry, Chris. Just to correct Jim in the chat, I did not say that Patrick Vieira is on the same level as Declan Rice. I said the attributes are similar. That's all I'm saying. He's clearly not as good as Patrick Vieira. Let's calm down. Anyway, just wanted to correct that. But yeah, where are you at with Rodrigo then?
I do like him, Dan, but I'm a bit nervous about spending all that money because we need players who hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Obviously he's quality, but I'm just a bit nervous about what he'd be like in the Premier League. I mean, obviously quality, he's settled down quite well, but I don't know. I was thinking, and also the money. You know what the Arsenal are like? If they spent that amount of money, would they then think, well, if I'm spending that amount, am I not going to spend this amount on another position? You understand? Would you take Watkins and Rodrigo?
No, I wouldn't. There's only 4 strikers I would accept at Arsenal. And I'm not being spoilt here. I just think we're in a position now to get the winners. There's only 4 strikers would be Julian Alvarez would be one. Isak would be another. Gyokeres would be another. And Osimhen. They're the only 4 that I would take because they've all proven at a level that they can deliver. Watkins has proven at Villa he can deliver and he's Premier League proven and I'm sure he'd come in and do well. He'd score goals for us, Chris, but he won't take us to that next elite level, in my opinion. Likewise, Sesko, he's not for me. I've seen bits of him and I'm not impressed with his level of goal scoring. We need a bagsman, we need a gunman, we need a killer in the box. And this guy got 13 goals in the Bundesliga.
Yeah,
I'm not being horrible. That don't fill me with a lot of excitement, really, And he's asking for as much money as Vic Gyokeres, and he's going to cost more because he's younger. Go and get the guy who's ready now. I'm sick and tired of this. Every morning I'm waking up and I'm being told we're going to be preparing a bid for Gyokeres. Sesko's the one we want. Next day, Gyokeres, we're back in for him. Next day, is this rumour or is this just crap planning from Arsenal? We should be knowing exactly who we're getting. I don't want to be talking about it. He's like, well, we're not sure which we want. We're not sure if we want this guy or that guy or the third. Go and get the bloke you want, man. Even if it's Isak, go and stick 125 million. There you go. Test the water. Liverpool doing it. We'll go and do it. Do you know what I mean? This is what I want to be seeing from Arsenal. But we don't act like this, bruv. We're dicking around again, aren't we?
It's weird about Osimhen, isn't it? I mean, there is no interest in him whatsoever from any what I call serious club in Europe.
I think he wants too much money. I think he wants too much money. I think that's why Saudi are linked with him because he wants like close to 400 bags a week, apparently. Which is why we're saying no, because obviously, well, not us. I don't think we've been in for him. If I'm brutally honest, I don't think we want anybody other than Sesko or Gyokeres. That is literally, it's going to be one of them, isn't it? And like you say, I agree. I don't think it's going to be both. I think it's going to be one of them, and I think we'll go for Rodrigo as well.
I mean, the thing is, Dan, after Kroenke wrote those notes in the programme. You've had everyone at Arsenal telling you this is going to be a massive summer. Even in my darkest moments, I can't really think that Arsenal will go into this summer without at least 3. I know you want 8, but at least 3 or 4 good signings. Because if they don't, it'll be on them, won't it? But I mean, they'll lose the the support of the fans, all that goodwill over the last 2 years go out the window. We'll be looking for a new manager because Arteta won't put up with it. We'll have a terrible start of the season because our fixture list is the fixture list from hell. I mean, have you ever seen an opening to a season like that?
Well,
So,
let's talk about that quick because that is that is a horrendous first 6 games, mate, isn't it?
well, I don't think I'm trying. Obviously, I can't remember every season in 60 years, but I can tell you something. I can't remember a start like that, and I'd love for anyone to come and tell us. Because I'm reckoning, if you get through that, you're laughing, mate. I tell you.
I laughed last year when we had that start, and that was tough.
Yeah.
But we had Wolves, Brighton, Villa, Spurs, Man City, and then there was one more, and it was nowhere near the level of this one. Going
This
to
is
Anfield,
amazing.
Old Trafford,
Yeah.
going to Anfield, Old Trafford, and St James Park in your first 6. That is absolutely horrific, isn't it? Oh, that is horrific, isn't it? And on top of that, you got to welcome Man City and Forest.
Yeah. I don't think Leeds will be easy either.
Well, none of them are going to be, are they? None of them are going to be.
So,
But I'll tell you this. I'm with Turkish. I heard him say this. If Arsenal was serious this season about winning the league, I'm only accepting dropping points to Liverpool at Anfield with a draw. I want 3 points in the rest.
no,
And I know people
I
say that's hard. People might say that's hard. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to win the league. We should be preparing ourselves now. And there's no more excuses now. Now them fixtures have come out, by the way. I don't hear them mucking around. There's no messing about now. We got the hardest toughest start we've had, which you've just said in potentially, the best part of 5 decades. And they're mucking around. No, I ain't having no mucking around, mate. We need to be ready to go on the first of. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, this is a massive window, Dan. I mean, not just for people, Dan Potts and Chris Hudson. I think it's. I'd love to see a WhatsApp message between all the Arsenal players because I think I'd love to read what they're saying because they want players in, don't they? Your Salibas, Sackers, especially Declan. How many times has Declan Rice been vocal about we need players?
Yep.
So
I do wonder genuinely. Look, I'm not saying that some people say, the players don't respect Arteta, they don't rate him. Rah. I genuinely don't think that is true. I genuinely do think they do. I think that is rubbish, right? However, I do sit and wonder if they do rate the way the clubs run, though, because this is the problem. People like Fabregas and Van Persie and Ashley Cole, they didn't leave because of the manager. They loved Wenger, right? They left because the ambition of the club did not match theirs. That will happen again, by the way, if Saliba and Saka and Rice and these people are looking, going, well, why is Mourinho up top here? Why am I playing with him as midfielder up in the middle here? What's going on here? They will look at that. They 100% will look at that. They will be as pissed off as the fans, right? Not that they slag off their teammates, but they're looking at a midfielder who's been bought in for 30 million, who's now our striker. They're looking at a flogged, half-fit Bukayo Saka, a flogged, half-fit Ødegaard, our best left-sided centre-back who's out, and they're going up against Real Madrid and PSG, who have got all their players fit. That is not right, bruv.
By the way, Dan, it's a tribute to those players. I know people. The fact that we still come second and we still reach the semi-final of the Champions League, and the eventual winners we took all the way. So it's a tribute. But the annoying thing is, just think if you had bought someone in January and you did have a striker up front, we'll never know, will we? But that's what I mean. That's going back to what I said. The people that ran Arsenal decided to play God, and look what happened. Isn't it unforgivable?
Let me ask you this then, before we come into a couple of players and positions to come to a close towards the end of the podcast. It is different now. It don't look different or sound different, by the way, but it is different now because we got Andrea Berta, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you bring him in and have a poor window. Like I was speaking to Sam yesterday, big up to him. He's obviously a Liverpool fan, and he goes, what do you reckon you'll have then? So I gave him a bit of a kind of realistic summer that I'm expecting. And he thought this is what he thinks Arsenal will do. He thinks we'll bring in Kepa, which looks like it's done. He thinks we'll bring in a backup defender, which a lot of people are saying is going to be hard to. He thinks Zubimendi will come in because it looks like it's done. And he thinks we'll get Gyokeres or Sesko. That's it. He don't think we'll get anything more than that. So he thinks we'll get three players in Kepa. That's what he thinks. Now, you don't bring Andrea Berta in and have a window like that. That I'm sorry, that is. But we did it last summer, Chris. Calafiori, Marino,
Yeah,
Sterling, and Neto. I mean, come on.
that was Edu's summer. I understand. I don't think he would have left Atletico Madrid to come and tread water, Dan, would he? You know.
No.
So but it's all with what's the date? We got another July. It's only a week away, and I do expect to see a couple of Fabrizios. Here we go soon. I'll tell you.
Well, look,
Really
let's talk about what the summer might look like before we come into some of the links, right? I'll put this up on screen so people can see it quick. This is the latest on Victor Gyokeres. He's apparently told Sporting Lisbon that he wants to go. Again, I'm not looking at reliability. I'm just looking at information that's come out today. According to reports in Portugal, Arsenal are planning to submit an opening bid for Gyokeres in the coming days. It's possibly worth the region of 75 to 80 million euros. I think that works out around about 60 million, right? Gyokeres has been clear that he wants to join Arsenal, and there's already been positive talks between the club and his agent. I think Andrea Berta is working on this. I honestly believe this is the one that he believes he can get done. Now, if that is going to be true, I think they'll probably accept close to 80 million euros. I think that's what they're after. Right? Would you be happy with this signing? Because I would.
Yeah, of course I would. Only to stop the incessant will he, won't he, Sesko, Gyokeres Twitter updates. Yeah, he's done. Let's get on with it. We've signed him. Get him on the pre-season tour. Get him in so he hits the ground running. And let's hope he scores. You want him. I always think when we buy a player, you don't want him to go 2 or 3 games without scoring, Dan. Do you remember Bergkamp? When the frustration, where we were so happy.
We need him to score in the first game of pre-season, don't we?
We need it. Yeah, of course I'll be at it because it's done then. As far as I'm concerned, and Sesko can stay at Leipzig with his agent. 14 goals a season, and basically he's waiting for Bayern Munich. I think that's what they get rid of Kane next summer, and Sesko go to Bayern. I think that's the plan there.
I agree, and I think that's why he wants this release clause in his contract because he wants to go somewhere else. The minute they want that, I don't want that. Yeah, the minute they want that, they're out the door because he's coming to Arsenal for a season and going right. I'm off to Bayern now or Barcelona.
Yeah, no good.
That's
Another thing about Gyokeres, I didn't know he played on loan at Brighton, or did he actually? He started at Brighton.
He was at Brighton, and then
he played with Ben White.
Yeah, he played with Ben White. Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah.
So there's another. I think, Dan, if you want to play, you want to say, I want people who want to play with a shirt. I mean, this geezer, he's begging to come here, isn't he? Let's face it. So end off.
I think he comes. Done. Yeah, I think he's got to come. Like for me, he bangs in goals. I know it's Portugal. I know it's only Coventry. But when you're delivering season after season consistently, it's worth a punt. It's less of a risk than Sesko for me. Yeah, he is going to score goals at Arsenal. He's not going to flop. He might, if he does come and he gets 15 goals, well, he's got what Havertz has got, right? In that last year that he had, not the season just gone one before. I think he'll get more than that. I think he'll come in and I think he'll get 20 goals for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what we need. So that's the striker situation. Let's look realistically at some of the other positions that you think we're going to go for, because I don't think Husam is far wrong in terms of I think what we need, backup goalkeeper and defender. We probably do need that. Obviously, Zubimendi's coming in at midfield. I still think we need another winger as well as another striker, and I still think we need another creative midfielder because Ødegaard. I mean, I love Ethan, but Ethan's going to be Saka's cover, I think. So we need someone to help out Ødegaard. So I don't know what your thoughts are about the other positions that we need, mate, but go for it.
Well, I'm happy with Kepa. I think he's he's a sort of keeper. If Raya got injured, I wouldn't be nervous about playing Kepa, by the way. But unlike last year when we had Neto, I would have been very nervous. Obviously, the boy from Ajax, his potential. I wouldn't be selling Kivior. I agree with you. In the midfield is a problem all of a sudden, and Rodrigo up front, but that's big money, Rodrigo. And I'm not with me Arsenal hat on. I'm not sure if they. It all depends on the fee there, really. I mean, and I can see Arsenal possibly having to sell someone, and I don't want Martinelli to go, and I don't think Arteta does. But I think that's another thing we might have to face this summer. I can see someone leaving, we may not be happy about it, but that's me.
Well, if we are going to have a casualty and someone's going, I do think it will be Martinelli.
Yeah, I know.
I would rather sell Trossard if we had to get rid of one, because he's coming to the end of his time at 30 odd. He wants to then go and get a nice contract in Saudi or somewhere else. I'm sure we can take some money for him. Martinelli's still got the absolute development and potential. I don't think he's developed right. This manager has, in my opinion, he's not grown under this manager. Whether you blame the manager, the style of play, whatever it be. The best season I saw Martinelli was when we were playing scintillating attacking football in the 22-23 season. We were 8 points clear. He scored 15 goals that year with the left wing. And I thought, this kid is special, mate. Like, he is the best left winger in the Prem. He's got the best stats, the best goals, best assists. He's flying. Ødegaard did the same. Saka did the same. Jesus, to be fair to him, for the first 3 months did the same, then got injured. If we had that style of football with Victor Gyokeres up front, Ødegaard serving him, you've got Martinelli and Saka with pace down the wings. As long as you sort your midfield out, if it is Rice and Zubimendi, there's no reason why we can't score goals next season if we're playing that style of football. But if we're lumping in balls to Mourinho and Havertz, I ain't interested in that. They ain't fun. Unless you're going to win 1-0, 2-1 every game and you go and do it George Graham, cool. But we weren't doing that. We were crap to watch and we were drawing. What did we draw? 15 games or something in the end?
It was a ridiculous amount of games. Yeah, it was. But that's all down to us not having the amount of games where we miss. So I've been looking back at some of our, on Sky, at 7 o'clock each evening, they replay a lot of games, like the highlights. And the amount of games I've watched where I've missed some chances, Liverpool, do you remember Havertz missed against Liverpool?
Oh.
I thought that would haunt you.
We had so many misses, mate.
Yeah, there's a lot
in the FA Cup game against Man United, the geezer missed from a yard. We had the Newcastle game where he jumped up from a yard of his head and closed his eyes and just hit his bonds and nothing happened. We've had so many. Even the Brighton game in the second game of the season, Havertz went through and missed his line. We would have won that game. No one would have cared about Declan Rice getting sent off. The only reason they did is because we drew the game, because he missed the game. He missed it. And this is what I mean. There's been so many chances. That PSG game, by the way, Trossard should have scored. I still don't know why he went with his left foot. Martinelli, he should have scored. I know that Donnarumma was quality. Second leg, he had Ødegaard. He pulled off a world-class save against. Martinelli should have scored. And there was another one from Mourinho as well. So you look at the chances we had and the amount of times that Saka's whipping them balls in the box, no one's there. This has to change with Gyokeres, brother. It has to.
Well, I think it will, mate. I mean, whether it's Portugal, he's still. If you look at some of the goals he's got, he's a finisher. He ain't a mug, but he's got to hit the ground running. Dan, that's the trouble. We can't afford any ifs, buts, and maybes when the season starts, because we're going to be under a lot of pressure. God forbid we got off to a bad start after spending loads of money, because the pressure will be right on Arteta. So we don't really need that. We don't need loads. We're under enough pressure as it is. That's why it's so important we get off to a good start, mate.
Yeah,
because what the media are like. They'll be on him like anything.
That'd be horrible if we in the first 6 we lose 3 of them. Oh, God. We lose. Let's just say we lose to Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle. They will kill him. They'll kill him. The media will have him. And the fans will. I've got to be honest. The fans will as well. So, I've got to be honest, brother. It's not looking great for the start. But look, there's going to be some players that leave, bruv. Right? We were talking earlier about what players are going to be leaving. If I give you some names of players that are looking likely to go, you tell me. You tell me if you'd keep any of them, right? So let me give you them all in total, and you tell me which of these you'd keep. Kivior,
yes,
Party, you'd keep both of them, yeah.
I'll keep Kivior 100%. He proved himself. He's a quality player.
Yeah,
Party,
I'd keep.
Yeah, I'll keep. But the thing is, he's not going to stay unless we offer him more money. So it's a bit.
Yeah. I'd just keep him what he's on now, give him a year with another option, and that's it. And then you keep him with Zubimendi.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do. Then Zinchenko.
I thought when he played last season, he didn't let us down, but he's not a left back. Fulham offer us what I call good money. We've got enough cover. But the thing is, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. I'll keep Zinchenko and I'll sell Calafiori.
That is a really good debate. I would actually, if I'm honest, I'd sell them both. Because we'll come back to Calafiori in a sec, right? Zinchenko for me looks like a midfielder. He doesn't look like a left back. He looks like, I know he inverts in the midfield anyway. He plays for Ukraine in midfield. He's done it for City a few times. When he did it for us, he looked okay. If he's going to come in as a squad player and be box to box, I wouldn't be devastated to keep him. But he's on a hell of a lot of money, and I think it might be time for him to go and get first team football. Fulham want him, AC Milan want him. I'm sure that we can sort out a deal for him. Calafiori is an interesting one because AC Milan offered about 40 million and we rejected it apparently. I would have accepted that because one, he ain't fit ever. And two, I'm not sure that I'm massively impressed by his defensive attributes, if I'm honest with you, because everything that looks good is him going forward.
Well, and plus the fact Miles is now he's Arsenal's left back for the next. Well, he's actually cold part too. Let's hope he obviously don't go to Chelsea, but he's got the number 3 shirt nailed down. For as long as he wants it. So basically, you're saying to Calafiori, you're backup. So I'd cash in on him to the Italian club. Oh, not because he's a bad player, but he ain't going to be your first choice. And B, his injury rate was horrendous, even before we signed him. Yeah. So that's why I'm with him. But then I suppose that leaves us short. But I think Hatto can play a left back. Kivior could as well. So you know what I mean.
So I had a chat with my mate yesterday, and I don't know what your thoughts are about this because I love Lewis-Skelly. I think he's unbelievable. I look at what he did against Real Madrid, and I think, crikey, nothing phases him. He's the strongest youngster I think Arsenal have ever had. I've never seen a player's just bounce off him, mate. And he's 18. It's crazy, right? But what do you think to this? Yoral Harto is being linked with Arsenal. And people are a bit confused about why. This is my theory. I don't know if this is going to happen, but maybe it's not what me or you would do, but I'm thinking what Arteta might do, right? Jurrien Timber has been unbelievable at right back. Yoral Harto is linked to being very, very close, likely player, or likened to, should I say, to Jurrien Timber. He's his like idol. He looks up to him, right? Helped him at Ajax massively. I wonder if he wants to play Lewis-Skelly and move him into midfield as like a box-to-box athletic midfielder and put Harto at left back and Timber at right back, so they're quite similar in what they do in attributes. I wonder if that's his next move and that's his thinking. Calafiori then becomes the kind of backup to both the left-sided defence, and then obviously you've got, when he's fit, Ben White and Tomiyasu playing the right side. That's what I think in his mind he's thinking.
Possibly, yeah. The thing, the trouble with that is, I think Miles, where does he see his career going? Because I think he's England's number 3 as well. And if he wants to go to the World Cup, I think he'll want to play at number 3. But that's England's problem. I'm not disagreeing with you because I used to watch Miles Selly in the youth team, and he was an outstanding midfield player. He reminded me of Tigana. You know, the French midfield used to play with Platini.
John Tigana. Yeah, I remember him with a little straw in his name. I think he was managed Fulham, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the same sort of player. I mean, but the thing is, you've got a squad, it's horses for courses. Some games you might want to do that, But going back to what I said, if I get 40 million on the table for Calafiori, I'm selling him.
I agree. I can't believe we rejected that. If that was genuine, I can't believe the amount of games he's played. He looks like another Tomiyasu. Let's not buy any more injury-prone players from Bologna, shall we? Because they're all bloody injured every time we buy one. That Tomiyasu, I know we laugh, but it's criminal, isn't it, really? I mean, he's played 6 minutes.
It's criminal, but it's sad. You know what the sad thing is? He's a bloody good footballer. I mean, when's the last time he's been out for 2 years, hasn't he? 2 years.
It's just shocking, really, isn't it? 6 minutes he's played for us this year, and he come off injured for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Season before that, I think he had about 2 months where he played bits and pieces, and he was out for the whole year for that. And by the way, he ain't actually coming back like in a couple of weeks. This guy's out now till 2026. Apparently, he's going to come back till December 2025, and he ain't fit till January 26. So him and Jesus are stuck here. We can't sell them because they can't pass fitness tests and medicals. So we're going to have to keep these two here on 100 grand a week and 265 grand a week, by the way. And they've got not going to kick a ball till the new year. It's worrying, isn't it?
It ain't good, mate. But it's not good. It's not good from it, but it's also not good from their point of view, because that's another thing. If you look, Jesus, we actually rebuilt him last season, didn't we? He was back.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he got back in the team? He hit that hat trick at Palace.
Yeah.
He was on fire. And then what happened? He gets he comes on against Man United. In the last 15 minutes, bang, ACL. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done, mate. His knees are gone. I think when your hamstring goes with this new operation, you come back stronger. But when your knees go, you're screwed, really. And I think at 28, whatever he is now, he needs to go and enjoy his football back in Brazil or at Saudi and just earn some money.
Yeah, good luck to him. He's a good player, Dan.
He's a good lad.
Sad. It's quite sad, really.
They're both good squad players to have, like without a doubt. If they were fully fit, I'd be saying keep. If they'd be playing every single year, Jesus and Tommy Asso, I wouldn't be selling them. Only reason I want them gone is because they're injury prone. It's nothing to do with their quality. And the best ability is availability, innit? We've had this how many times have we had this? Jack Wilshere, Abu Dhabi over the years. How many times
Van Persie, he was never fit after internationals. There's loads.
Remember Rosicky? He was out about 18 months one time. Rosicky. I just think, what is happening with these players, man? Honestly, it's happened for years. But yeah, both of them, I think, are going to be squad players, and we can't talk about them until the new year. Now we've got to forget about them. I wanted to ask you before we close about Mikel Arteta, because a lot of people in the chat will want to know your thoughts on it. A lot of people are saying that he needs to win something, otherwise he's got to go. Also, people are saying that it don't really matter what he does. He's got to win a Premier League or a Champions League, or he's got to go. I've had debates with people about this, and my thoughts on the manager and the ownership. I think they're a massive problem. But where are you at as Chris Hudson this season? If he wins Sank, he's safe. If he doesn't win Sank, he's got to go. Or are you happy to give him more time, or what?
I think if this season he doesn't win anything, he'll go on his own accord. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I am.
So you think he'll resign?
I think he'll say to himself, look, I've tried everything. I've rebuilt this. This will be his third Arsenal team. If you look at it, since he's joined, he's built 2 teams. This will be his third team that he's built. And yes, I think he's a sort of bloke to say, well, I've tried my best. I've come runners up 3 times. I've won 1 FA. I think he'll go on his own accord. I think he'll leave on his own accord, Dan, basically. I don't think he won't be getting sacked, put it that way. That won't happen. But I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, because, I don't want to get too depressing, because if that happens, then you have to start all over again.
What I will say about that, I agree with a lot of what you said, and I disagree with some bits. The bits I agree with are he has to win Sank, otherwise he's going to go, or he'll leave, or he'll get sacked, or whatever. But he has to get sacked. The bit I disagree with, I don't actually. So I agree with you about. I don't think they'll sack him, because they would have done that this season, because he didn't win anything again, right? But he ain't. They're just keeping this guy. They don't care about winning Cronkies. They made that very bloody clear for me, right? But I will say this. I don't think that he'll walk, because I look at him and I think £15 million a year. He's at an unbelievable club, one that he says he loves and played for. He's got it pretty good, Chris, isn't he? And I just wonder, do you mean he'll walk because of pride, or what you think?
I think, as you know, he says at the end of every year, he goes away, doesn't he, with his family, and I've always remembered this. He looks in the mirror and he asks himself, "Have I done the best I just think, he'll say to himself, I can't take this club any further. Seriously, if this scenario happens, which I hope doesn't, I just think he'll go on his own. I don't think the money's that. Perhaps I'm being naive, but I think there comes some sort of financial arrangement in their leave. I don't think they get. I just think they won't sack him. Dan, there's no
Yeah,
way
I
the
agree with
Cronkies
that.
will sack him.
I agree with that. But do you think that he should go if he doesn't win a trophy this season? Because I do.
I think, much as I hate to admit it, yeah, but it's like getting rid of Party. No good getting rid of Party and bringing in an you know what I mean? It's all right getting rid of
I agree with that.
Arteta,
I agree with that.
but you got to. I want to see who would I want? I want Enrique from PSG rocking
Yeah,
up.
yeah, same here. That's who I'd take. My number one would be
Yeah,
him. I've
he's
been
to
so
me.
impressed with how they're
He's the
playing.
number. Yeah, he's the number one manager in Europe, as far as I'm concerned. What he's done with PSG, and I
I
don't
agree.
care if it's a Farmers League. Well, that Farmers League knocked Arsenal and Villa out and won the Champions League. So you know what I mean? And he's
Yeah, I
done it.
totally agree.
He's done it at Barca. He did it with Spain. You know, I quite like it. You know, not forgetting all the things that happened with his daughter and that. You know, he seems he
I
comes over as a
him. I
top
think
man.
what happened. Yeah, I'd take him tomorrow. I think he's the closest
Oh, I
thing
would.
to Pep right now. I mean, he's the only
Yeah,
one who's done a treble like Pep has. And I'm not saying that
yeah,
he's in the same level as Pep, by the way, but I do think that the style with play is beautiful to watch. I think he's been incredible. Knocking out Liverpool, knocking out Villa, knocking out Arsenal. When people say it's a Farmers League,
exactly.
well, yeah, it is a Farmers League, but he won that. He won a treble. He won a Champions League as well. So he did well with Spain. He done it with Barcelona. I think he'd be my number one personally. I still like
Yeah.
Diego Simeone. I still like, some of the other managers that have all got that kind of CV that says I win. But for me, I look at it now and think, yeah, you're the number one that I'd want. And I don't think he'd leave PSG yet, but I think he will because everyone does. No one stays at PSG for more than 5 years, 3 years. So
But
for me, I think he's there. But on the other flip side of that, I don't want to go and get like De Zerbi or even, and I love Cesc, even Cesc Fabregas. Might as well keep Arteta. Like they're not winners. They ain't won anything yet. They're learning. They're trying. What's the
I
point of going
think
and getting
though,
Fabregas?
interesting as Cesc, he turned into Milan Dan, didn't he? I thought that was quite interesting. That.
Yeah, and look, I
Well,
think Cesc
you
will be
were,
a great manager. I
yeah,
think he will one day, but
yeah,
I don't want to go and get him now. I want to go and get him
yeah.
once, like Xabi Alonso. He's gone and done so. That's why Real Madrid want him because he's like crikey. He's young, but he's proven himself. He's won.
Well,
Let's get him.
on the Cesc subject, though you may not want him, he's the sort of geezer that say, you can imagine a scenario. Arteta's gone, club's in meltdown. What would you do to get the fans on side? You go and get Cesc. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think Cesc Fabregas would be a perfect Cronky replacement for Arteta. Perfect. I'm with you. And I don't want that. I don't want that. I want people laugh when I say these names, but Carlo Ancelotti, Conte, Simeone, they've all won stuff. They all win. Wherever they go, they win. And, Conte, well, what did he do at Tottenham? Well, he finished above us and got top four. And then he left because he said they're a disgrace of a club, which they are. And then he went to Napoli and won the league with Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore. I mean, let's be honest. Like, he is a top manager, isn't he? Like he just wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might leave you in 2 years, but in that 2 years, if you give me a Champions League and a Premier League, do you think I care? I couldn't give a damn. So
But
that's what I'll be doing. You know what I mean?
the thing is, if you look at Arsenal's history, Dan, how old are we now? About 100, 130. I think we're over 135 years old. We've had 26 full-time managers.
Yeah,
So
we
that
don't
tells
sack
you.
managers.
No, so, but that's the Arsenal way, Dan, and that's how it is.
It is, mate. Listen, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, mate. Really appreciate you jumping on, mate. And
Good.
I know, on
Well,
AFTV, the old supporters club, good episode.
let's see. We'll have another catch up if you like. Give it a couple of weeks when we hope we've had a few here we goes.
Well, look, we'll do another show in July, and we'll see who we
Yeah,
signed.
that's it.
That's what
All
we'll
right,
do. All right. But listen, big up to you, bro. Really appreciate it as always.
mate.
And I'll speak to you next time, Chris. All right. Cheers,
All
bro.
right, mate. Good. See you later.
Top man.
Good.
Okay, people. Right. We're gonna literally close with a couple of bits of news that's come out on AFC stuff. So let's do that. Let's do a couple of super chats before we come to a close. Ryan, big up to you. Says Arsenal lost 4 games all season and could lose 2 within the first 6 games. What score total puts Arteta under pressure? Anything less than 14 to 18. I'll keep it more simple than that. 90 points is the target. That means we've got to win 30 games. So we've got 8 that we can afford to drop points in. Simple, isn't it? When you put it like that. 8 games to draw or lose, 30 games to win, gets you over 90 points, and that statistically gives you the best chance of winning the league. If we start by losing 2 or 3 in the first 6, ain't a very good start, is it? Because that only gives you 5 games to play with in 36 games. So, come on, or 36 games. So we have to. Look, he'll be under pressure. If we get to them 6 games and he has not, I'll be ruthless because I think we're at that point now. Beat Man United, must. Beat Leeds, must. Draw at Anfield, minimum. Beat Manchester City, must. Beat Newcastle, because we must, because we ain't beat them at St James's for a long time and we're better than them. Beat Forest. So I'm only accepting dropping points at Anfield. Now, I don't mind if we go and take a point off of Newcastle and we don't, or we take a point off of City, but I ain't having dropping points to 3 of them. Yeah? If you drop points by drawing 2 of them, but you win the rest, I think we've had a good start. I obviously want perfection. I want to win all 6, right? But I'm talking about realistically. What I don't want to do is go, crikey, look at those 6 games, right? So we drew at Old Trafford. We beat Leeds, but then we dropped points and lost at Anfield. We beat Forest, but then we lost to Newcastle and Manchester City. No. No title race when you do that. It ain't. It just ain't. That's where I'm at. Stephen, big up to you. Says, if Arsenal don't sack him, then we're no longer a big club. Do you think Abramovich would keep a manager who's won nothing for 6 years? No. He also comes in and says there's 140 years next year, 2026. Yeah, I agree. It will be 140 years. We've had 26 managers. Coming back to this, Stephen, I agree with you. Abramovich is brutal, but he was the best football owner because the amount of times that I saw this guy sacking managers and I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then it's like, boom, trophy again, trophy again, trophy again. So they might have had 15 managers or whatever it was, but do you know what? In that 20 years, they had 20 trophies. I'll take the trophies. 100%. Do you want to have 20 trophies and 20 managers or 0 trophies for 20 years, but 1 manager who stayed for 20 years? I think we know the answer. We want 20 trophies, right? And I'm not saying that's the answer, by the way. Sack, 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 sack. Because it doesn't always work, right? Look at Manchester United. But it has to be a consistent level. And for me, Luis Enrique, I mean, it's a great shout from Chris. He would be my number 1 to go and get right now. I have been so impressed with how PSG have played. And they don't have any Galacticos anymore in their team. He's built a team. He's put them together. He's put a trio together in midfield that looks unbelievable. He's got the 2 best fullbacks in the world, because I think Nuno Mendes and Hakimi are actually the 2 best in the world. He's got the best trio in the world. Vitinha, I think, is alongside Pedri the best midfielder in the world. Fabian Ruiz, incredibly underrated and complements Vitinha. And João Neves hasn't been spoken about enough as a signing. He's been phenomenal. You've got Dembele, who's balling out and potentially going to win Ballon d'Ors. You've got Kvaratskhelia, who was an unbelievable signing in January. You've still got Doué and Barcola. I'm sorry, man. He's unreal. So there we go. It's not 30 wins, Dan. Invincibles was 26. No, I agree with that. I'm not saying that's what we have to do to win the league. I'm saying that 30 wins gets you 90 points, and 90 points is what you need, right? So let's not say how many wins. We've got to get to 90 points, and that still might be enough. Might not be enough. So 90 points is the target for me, man, for Arteta. 100%. We got 89. That weren't enough. Means we need 90 odd. So that's where I'm at. Couple of bits of news. Let's go through AFC stuff very quickly. What have we got here? Obviously, we had the Victor Gyokeres news. We have also had... let's go through this very quickly. That was where I caught up to yesterday. Noni Madueke, sorry, no. I don't want to talk about this much. No, I don't want him. 50 million is ridiculous. No, thank you. Obviously, the next bit of news is about Zinchenko. Apparently, Fulham are interested in him. They value him at 10 million. We value him at apparently 12.7. The reason is because his wages are mad. His wages are mad. Yeah. So that's why we're going to be in a position where we potentially have to look at taking something lower. But I think we need to get rid of Zinchenko and get him off the wage bill. And Fulham would be fair. They've got all of our other Arsenal players. Apparently, Fabio Vieira's come out of the Club World Cup. Let's hope that he goes there and stays there because I don't want him back at Arsenal. We've obviously got the Kepa news. Apparently, the announcement of Zubamendi is pretty much done. The next arrival is likely to be Kepa, 5 million from Chelsea. Meh, one of those. Backup goalkeeper. Partey's contract expires next week. Arsenal have been in negotiations over an extension. They're yet to find an agreement. Although Partey's preference has been to remain here, he's entertaining offers from elsewhere. Well, of course he's going to be because they believe they're probably going to offer him more. Saudi will offer him more. Barcelona, Juventus, these teams that are interested in him will probably offer him 200 a week just to get him over there for a couple of years. Why do we not do it? Just keep him. Give him a year. If he's on 200 and whatever it is, let's say, right, we're not giving you any more. You're staying on that, but we'll give you a year with another option. Done. That means he can stay at Arsenal in London for another couple of years. Because that's what it is about sometimes. His family, how happy they are. Does he want to up and move? We should have got this guy signed up anyway, in my opinion. And I know why we've left it because of his injury problems. But when he's on his day, I don't think there's a better player for Arsenal. I think he's unbelievable. Luciano Gomez being linked. Obviously, if Partey departs, he'll have to be replaced. The situation right now is the club are discussing a number of potential alternatives. And Luciano Gomez is one of the names under discussion. He's 23, French defensive midfielder, played well for Seville. I don't know much about him, but he does look quite good, technically gifted on the ball. So if he was to go, we'd bring him in, but that would be a downgrade. I think Zubamendi and Luciano Gomez is a downgrade on Partey and Jorginho. I've got to be honest. I think it is. I understand you've got to freshen it up with legs, but that would be all it is. Cole Hine looks to be going back somewhere on loan. We would be open to keeping him on a permanent deal, but he'd be third choice. Obviously, we've got Setford still. We've obviously got looking like Kepa as backup. So if he comes in, he's going to be third choice. He just needs to leave Arsenal. Go and find a first. He done well at Valladolid, apparently. Go and find somewhere that you find your feet in and go and play first team football. The Gyokeres news we bought earlier, but we'll say it again quick. We're planning to submit an opening bid of 75 to 80 million euros, which we believe can get the job done. Let's get this guy in now. Why are we not? Let's get this guy in. It needs to be Gyokeres. Forget Sesko. He wants a release clause in his contract. Not going to happen. And I think that's it for today. Yes, it is. That's it. Look, people, we're going to leave it there. Big up to everyone that's been here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Big up to Chris Hudson for coming on. Make sure you scan the QR code and get involved with Match Bingo tonight at the Club World Cup. People are winning money. It needs to be yourself. Download it. Scan the QR code after this or click on the link in the description. It will take you there. Download the app. You create a credit for just £5 to your account and you can play. That, good luck to you because there's a lot of people that are winning money and yeah. I missed out by one card the other day and I got a bit annoyed with it. So I'm going to play again tonight and see how I get on. Hopefully I'll win. There's a couple of people that are winning. I think 150 quid people have won. So make sure you get involved in it. And literally you pick the card picks itself for you and it ticks it off. So you don't have to sit there with a dabber like old school. It does it all for you. And it lets you know when you win. So good luck tonight. You can play on any game, any I don't know who's playing tonight, but on the Club World Cup. But big up for that. Let's use live. Let's see how I can send you to because I always like to try and redirect if I can. Let me know who's live in the chat that you'd like to go to. Where are we? Who is live? Shane's live. Let's go and send you over to Shane. Shane's chatting football at the moment, chatting Arsenal, as he always does. Legend. He's got his morning breakfast show, so make sure that you go and show him some love. Go and spam the chat, Dan Potts Raid. I'll send you over. And he's talking about, he's so annoyed, by the way. He's so frustrated with the striker situation. He's had enough. And he's like, one day it's Gyokeres, one day it's Sesko. So let's go and show Shane some love. He is a good old boy. So go and show him some love. And yeah, I will be back tonight with a Arsenal Roundabout show. Don't miss it. See you soon. We're out of here, people. Laters.